Good morning, friends. This is Esther. How are you? Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. It's nice to be back. So let me check on my friend June whether she's ready. Okay. Brother Opio, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hi, June.
Hi.
All right.
Yeah.
I like your hair. You've changed your hairstyle.
Yeah, I've gone back to my roots.
Sister Chinwe, how are you? Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us. So, dear friends, wherever you're joining us from, we encourage you to share the video because what we are talking about, discovering yourself, is important to everyone. Yeah, Sister Chinwe, I'm trying to say, we should invite Sister Chinwe one time. Yes, she's loaded. Yeah, so we'll think about that. Anyway, our topic, we are still continuing our series. Um, what has happened?
We can't. Okay.
We're still talking about our series, Discovering Yourself. I think this is part 5. And I'm still with my friend June Bugeni. So June, please greet our people in case they don't know you.
Uh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching from your location. Yeah, thank you really for joining us for, through this very interesting series. And, we ourselves, even though we are sharing, we are also learning. So we are
Yeah.
encouraging you, please also to share with us when we mention a point. Kindly also share yours so that we together can learn, because it's a platform of people of different angles and backgrounds sharing their experiences of life.
Yes. Brother Pio is asking, how was your weekend? Oh, my weekend, busy. That's what I can say. Yes, weekend actually. So yeah, it's busy, but it's all good. Brother Weekly, thanks for coming. So we'll start. We'll go straight on our topic. Sorry for coming on late. And so our series we've been talking about discovering ourselves. Last week it was Sammy, my husband, and a friend Paul who were talking about where are you going. That's also very key, and we'll talk about that in details the subsequent weeks. But this time we decided to talk about developing yourself or personal development
Mm.
because we think that it is needed. Once you know who you are, then that's the first step you have to take before you can reach your destination. It's sort of like, for example, you have two places. You know who you are, and you know where you're going, or you have a destination or a vision. So the bridge you need to connect these two is actually personal development. That's why we decided to talk about it and to really share with you what we are learning, what we are putting in practice, and also to learn from you too. Yeah, because we know many of you know so much, you have different experiences, and your ideas could also help other people. So please feel free to share your ideas as well. So personal development is that bridge we need to go to our destination, to realize our goals and visions. Yeah, so we always know that good is always the enemy of better.
Mm.
We should not always be contented with where we are or what we have achieved. There is always another level. Wherever you are, whoever, even at your age, you may say, I'm 100, what can I do? There is always something you can do. Even the best of us still has a weakness, still has an area to work on. So personal development is actually a lifetime journey. It
Yeah.
doesn't stop. you go on through. Why? Because you want to be better than yesterday. Then when you achieve that thing today, then you also want to be better than that. So there's always a higher step to achieve. Okay. And also, it's very important for us to key into this personal development. Why? Because our environment, our world is changing. It's always moving. Imagine those long time ago when we used to have those telephones, June, the ones you dial like.
Yeah.
Now, if you can imagine and compare that to a mobile phone. So if we had gotten stuck and say, you know what, I can't hold a mobile phone. I want to stick onto that other old-fashioned phone we had. You miss out on a lot of things. So that is an example to show you how relevant personal development is.
Yeah.
Because the world is changing. You have to adapt. You have to grow. You have to change. June, what can you say about the topic?
You really made me laugh to remember those telephones. I remember in my country when transport was not very good, and if you want to write a letter to somebody in the village, you just go to the bus station and then you give the letter to the conductor, and then you tell them, when you get to this village, just throw it out. And then somebody will pick and they will read the name of your father, and then so you can imagine that kind of where we have really come from and
Yeah.
where we are now. You come to realize that we really need to develop ourselves to catch up with time. But concerning this, I've come to realize, and I'm sure Esther, you will agree that is that life, the state of life we are today is a result of principles which we either obeyed or we did not, or we disregarded them, whether consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah.
Life is about principles. Life
Mm.
is about, it's like there is a set of rules which have been set in motion and we are there. So if you apply the right principle, you will get the
Mm.
rightful result. And even
Yeah.
if you don't get the desired result, at least you will learn a lesson on how to do it. But if you
Mm.
do not apply the rightful principles, the consequences will come. And I
Mm.
think many of us, have become victim of that because we tend to think that, oh, life can bring whatever it brings. It will bring, I remember one day I was watching the Japan tsunami, and I looked at, as the water was flowing, there was nothing to stop the water. There was nothing
Mm.
to stop the water. So it is like that. Once water is in motion, it will go until it find a place where it can no longer move. And whatever it finds on its way, it will sweep it. So you
Mm.
either run for your life, climb on top of a tree, because you will not prevent that. So that is also life. We cannot
Mm.
just say, oh, this is how I'm born, and the environment I've grown up, and the education, and what I cannot change. No, we have
Mm.
to really work on developing ourselves so that we get the desired outcome of the destination we want to head to.
Okay, so I think we should start. And just to mention this, our friends, is that whatever we give you is not exhaustive. We're just sharing a few things. There's so much information out there. So please feel free to add on to the list as well.
Mm.
Okay, Brother Peter and Brother Abby, you're welcome. Brother Christian, Ronald, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. So my first point on this personal development journey is, let us learn to drop the fixed mindset and adopt the growth mindset. By fixed mindset, I'm meaning not willing to change, not willing to adapt to a new situation. By growth, I'm meaning you can adapt, you can expand yourself. You're not only in one place, you don't only have one idea, you don't only believe in what you know, but you can also listen to other people. There's that allowance. So that is what I'm referring to as growth mindset.
Mm.
And an example I can give is, for example, a person is coming from Uganda. okay, and they have been given an opportunity to come to the UK. Well, from Uganda, they have a degree in agriculture, okay, and then they come to UK for, to start a new life, or should I call it greener pastures, as the language says. So when they arrive in the UK, of course, UK is an industrialized country. It's an IT-driven country. Yes, we have farms, but we don't find them all over the place. Oh, he said he decorates his CV with all his experience in Uganda about agriculture, farming, and all that, and posts it on all these job websites, looking for a job. And then for months, he's not getting any success, So one thing, if the person had a fixed mindset, they will leave their CV as they are, and then insist that why am I getting my job in agriculture field, blah 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 blah. So yes, to one point, when some degree they can succeed, but to a large extent there will be a delay in getting this job you have. So that person, if it has a fixed mindset, they'll be frustrated. They'll say, okay, life is hard, it's difficult to get jobs, And my advice is that, pack your load and go back to Uganda or to Africa, where agriculture is relevant, where the country's agricultural, you have more prospects there. But someone with a growth mindset will realize, actually, the skill set that I had in Africa is not really relevant here. So I have to look on the internet, look on the job market. What are the jobs there? What is the skill set are they looking for? I have my spare money. Can I do an IT course? Can I try to get some skills and to adjust and put my CV so that I am relevant to the environment where I am? That person will get a job fast.
Yeah.
Or if you've been a degree, a professor in Uganda, and then you come here and it's difficult to get a job, and you say, you know what, me, I can't sweep. I can't do those cleaning jobs. I can't do care. I'm a professor. Okay, what I'm trying to say to open people's eyes to realize that we need to grow. We need to adjust. And that is the main for this thing. So part of having a growth mindset is to continually be in the learning process. There's always something you don't know. There's some knowledge out there that you can always add to yourself. Okay, so attend workshops, learn about different things. Maybe you say, this housing situation here, how is this estate thing? Maybe I should learn about estate or read a book. The good thing that in other countries in the West, in every society or community, there's always a library.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse for ignorance. There's always a library, free internet. Things are out there. Always be inquisitive, be curious about your environment, about what's going on in your community and all that. So Albert Einstein, a very historical figure and scientist, once said that once you stop learning, you start dying. So can you imagine how many dead people can be walking around this face of the earth? Why? Because they have been stuck. They have a fixed mindset. They're not learning anymore. They think they have it all. And if you want to develop yourself, open yourself up to knowledge, to learning every day. And this could be doing small researches, reading biographies of great people so that you can learn from their stories. And maybe set a goal of reading a book a month. That's one of my goals. And I picked it up from the different environments that I've exposed myself in. So that also helps me. You learn about this subject, you know about this subject, so that if anyone starts a conversation, you can contribute 1 or 2 points. Why? Because you're knowledgeable. June, why are you laughing?
I'm laughing that way because, sometimes we have this kind of fixed mentality, and I'm just looking as, the whole point of also this topic is to be able to help us to bring out the best in the inside of us. And that actually is an aspect of leadership. Whether people believe it or not, they have a seed of leadership in the inside of them. And I'm thinking we all want to be managers and CEOs of companies and what. And maybe now it comes to the issue of personalities. You say, me, I am a introvert. I normally don't talk too much, if you are going to be working with people of different, you have sanguines, you have melancholics, you have, all sorts of people, you have to first learn how to work with those people, because different situations as a manager, as a leader, will arise, which will require you to use different strategies. I always say, for example, you are a CEO in a company, and there is an emergency. Maybe like here we are told, like, a fire outbreak in a building. You're not going to start saying, oh, my procedure is I have to call all the head of departments first. At that time, you apply your melancholic nature, and you make everyone safe out of the building. Then we can start talking procedures while we are out safe. But when it comes to things like you want to develop a very detailed project for the company, you're not going to just rush because you say, I'm a sanguine, so I normally just jump into things. You have to learn to become a person of detail. So you don't just say, this is how God created me. I am a very sociable person. So you just socialize in everything. There will be times, even though your main personality is a sanguine or the sociable person, it will reach a point where you will have to put in the gear of somebody who is very principled and organized, a person of details. And those things, you have to learn them. You have to learn to know what personality type and what strategy to apply at different situations. Because as you are saying, you might be in a group and everyone is talking and you're just quiet because you have not learned anything. You don't know what else to say. You are feeling shy. You have a burning point inside of you. You don't give yourself the courage to speak out because you say, I'm a shy person. You have to really, really learn and be willing to adopt. Yeah. So that was a contribution towards Esther's point. So me, I would say, like, one of the other things which you really need to learn as part and process of developing yourself is let go of the need to please everyone. That one is something you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional and say, you know what? I know where I am going. I know who I am, and I am going to stand for what I believe. There will be times you will not please everyone. You will you might even lose some friends because you have chosen to stand because of what you believe. But if you know that you have done that out of the values and principles which you hold dear, then you should not even feel guilty about it, because in due time they will understand. But if they don't understand, probably it's a time to ask yourself, do they really even buy into the vision and passions which I have? But as much as we are saying stand for what you believe, we are also saying that do it in love. Don't be arrogant and start despising people and making judgments and what. You stick to your principles as you make them aware, so that even when people see you, I know that there are some things which are so dear to me that even when somebody sees me, if somebody wants to get me involved in something, they will know we are doing this because we know June is reliable, Esther is reliable. But when you are just there to please everyone, the aspect of reliability will not be there, because there will be others who will be thinking negative from you or different from you, and you will want to please them. Before you realize, your own personality, your own vision, your own ambition will start be laying aside, and you will be living other people's vision. So let go of the need to please other people. There will be moments where you will be primarily by yourself, but it is also good, and you should not feel negative about it. Learn not to please other people, because you have a destination where you want to go, and you do not want anything or anyone to derail you. Make people know where you are going, who you are, and let them see where do they fit inside your life? Not you trying to fit yourself, because when you try to please people, it's like you're trying to fit yourself in other people's shoes. There might be a bigger size, there might be a smaller size, and you do not want to really waste time. Time is
Yeah.
life, and we should value it and invest it on the things which will add value to our personalities, our principles, and the things that we desire to get accomplished. Mm,
Wow. Thank you, June.
mm.
Yeah, June, can you please also talk about organizing your life?
Yeah. Um, when it comes to the aspect of organizing your life, I love that one because it is something very, very important. Many people just get up and they really don't know what they want to do on that particular day. So you just open your eyes. Today it's a Saturday or it's a Monday. You just know I am going to work. But even if you're going to work, what are you going to do there? You have 8 hours or whatever hours which you have been allocated there. You need to organize your life properly. Have a daily plan. What are the things do I want to achieve today? What is it that I want to accomplish, to the extent that when it's evening, I can look back and I know that I managed to accomplish this. What is my weekly schedule? There are so many things out there which are calling into our attention. There are meetings, there are parties, there are funerals, there are weddings. And we only have 24 hours in a day. And multiply that by 7. My mathematics have skipped out at the moment, but you will have the number of hours, and each one of us, we have got the same number of hours, minutes, and seconds. What do you do with those? That's where we say organize your life, plan your daily, have your daily schedule, your weekly. Know when to switch your mobile phone. I always tell people, if you are going to text me after 11 at night, I might see it tomorrow. And probably I will not even see it very early, because when I go to bed, I switch off my mobile data. I do not want that thing. Your phone is constantly do, buzzing, buzzing. And when it buzzes, the light starts flashing. You will be tempted. You can't even sleep because you are thinking, what is there? If I've decided I'm going to sleep, I do not want anything to disrupt my sleep. I will leave my phone, the call mode on. If it's an emergency, somebody can reach me. But if it's just WhatsApp, Facebook, switch off mobile data. Know when to do that. Organize yourself. People sometimes get offended if they send you a message on WhatsApp and then you did not see until 3 hours later. I say, if it was urgent, call me. My phone will be on. When you call me, I will know that it is urgent. So learn to organize yourself, and know when to socialize. We are not saying that you just become serious and become a workaholic. You work from if you're a family man, you're a family woman, allocate time for your spouse, for your children. You don't just say, oh, I'm going to work, and that is the thing they need in the house. They need food, and what they need you also. So learn to have those moments, because they will also know how to organize their days. There are families where I know they say Friday evening, no appointments, because we all go to mommy's place or daddy's place if they are grown-ups, and we all have a family dinner. That time, no appointment, no meeting, no prayer meeting in church, no wedding, what we'll call them, because they know this is a precious time. So learn to organize yourself, and don't feel guilty when people don't understand, or else you will be leaving other people's schedules. Yeah.
And June, when you're talking about stop pleasing, being a people pleaser, what came to my mind was that actually that kind of life is so stressful.
Oh.
It was why? Because you want to please everyone. So when they call you for a meeting, you have to go. Or you really remember, oh, also the other person called me for their birthday. If I don't go, they'll get hungry. You go there. By the time you fall on your bed like this, you're worn out. So one of the things to stop stress is actually know your priority.
Yeah.
Learn to say no. Learn to say no in a positive way. It's not always yes, 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 yes. And let people learn to accept the no's from you as well. It is healthy. It is healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, June. Let's go move on. My next point is start to rely on yourself. What do I mean by that? Is that many times when we are stuck in life, we tend to think that maybe because of my upbringing, maybe because of my environment, maybe because my parents didn't raise me up well, maybe because my mother didn't give me the right food, so my brain is not functioning, maybe because my friend who left me, maybe because the other person who jilted me, it's because maybe the government is not doing their job. You know, you always find an excuse for your non-achievement. Come on, responsibility for your life. You say, you know what? I'm not earning money because I am the problem. So sit down and talk with yourself, have a meeting with yourself. So what can we do, Esther? Why don't I have enough money to meet my needs? What can I do in these next 2 hours? Where can I go? Who can I talk to? Take personal responsibility. Stop blaming your uncle who didn't do your job. You know, I used to be like that. I used to be having that victim mentality. You know, oh, it's because people don't like me, or it's because maybe I didn't dress the right way. No, we are. It's the decisions we've taken in life. So let's learn to accept that and make changes. And they start with small stages. Okay, for example, yeah. So when you look at your life like that, taking responsibility for your own life, you know what? Your mind changes. You start to look to question yourself, to have that personal talk with yourself. You start to see opportunities around you. You know, some people would say, why don't I have a job? You know, I always go apply here, people don't do it. But you know what? They just looked around and said, first of all, this environment is dirty. Why can't I start cleaning it? And I know someone who did that. Their own initiative, they just started cleaning their community. Every time they get the bags, start picking rubbish, piling it up one place. So one place, the local council officer phoned this guy and said, who pays you? Are you on a payroll? I always see you clean this thing. He said, no, I just looked for jobs. I couldn't find a job. So I said, you know what? My community is dirty. Why can't I help it? Since I have both hands, both legs. That guy is the head of cleaning department right now in that community. He was given the. So sometimes we limit ourselves. So when you don't limit yourself like that, you limit your creativity as well. Blinded to opportunities around you. And the problem with us in Africa is that we are not raised to have the mentality of volunteering. We always say, it has to be for money, nothing for nothing, you know, something for something. But here in the Western world, if you don't have any volunteering experience on your CV, you may lack a job.
Yeah.
Why? Because they want people to develop that ability to give for free, not always to be money driven, but just for the love of your community, love for people. They just want to see that aspect in people's lives as well. So it's important we be creative. It's important we ask ourselves questions. We take personal responsibility for our lives. Yes.
Yeah.
And this will boost your confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it helps you know what, I'm in charge of my life. You become more confident in yourself, and you have that positive self-belief, and you're trusting in yourself. And by doing that, developing yourself like that, you also learn to trust your own judgment. When you make decisions, you say, yes, I believe this. Even when you make a mistake, because we don't always get things right. You know what? You don't take it as so negative and beat yourself to death. No. You just accept that, yes, we are human, we make mistakes. Pick lessons from that and move on. Because every mistake you make is another way of exposing you that, okay, this is not the right way to do it, it's a better way to do it. So as you're learning to develop yourself, to trust yourself, you will be making mistakes, but pick yourself up and grow through those mistakes. Okay, I think that's why I wanted to stop. June?
Yeah, one another aspect in developing yourself, we have learned that it is very, very important to have regular retreats, and you know, I call them like me time And at that particular moment, it is I, me, and myself who matter. I put myself as a priority. And many times we feel so guilty when you want to have your me time, the time for yourself. We think, oh, what will other people say? They will say that I'm selfish. You better be selfish and develop, rather than pleasing everyone and they're depleting you and you do not have anything else to give, and you just appear. Because at that time, it is in the me time, it is in the personal retreat times where you will have time to connect back to you, to the real you. It's a time where you sit down and reflect. Me, sometimes I tell people I do some funny things. There are times I will sit in front of the mirror and I will look at myself and I will be speaking to myself audibly. And I will be asking myself, why is this thing not happening? Why are you not moving forward? Why are you not being fruitful in this kind of area? Because I know that the knowledge that is required, at least the basic one, I have been given. And I have done this and I've done this. So I have to take personal reflection. You cannot do personal reflection if you are in the midst of every noise that you can imagine. Like if you are a parent, the children are making noise, they are watching their favorite TV there. You can't sit there and you say you are personal reflecting. You need to take some time out. Cut yourself from media. There are times I switch off my mobile completely. I only inform some key people. If there is an emergency, come and knock on my door, or do this only at this particular time. I will just check my phone to see if there is anything. But cut yourself from the distraction of media. You can imagine how many WhatsApp group people are, maybe 20. So you can imagine if you are going to keep your phone next to you at that particular time. This group, the Tanzanian Association in the UK, 20 messages. The church group, you are in the worship team, you are a teacher, the association of teachers, the leavers of university. You will not move anywhere. Put that aside. It will not kill, it will not hurt you. It's not that the whole world will come to an end because you didn't see some messages. But take time to reflect. During that time, use it as a time to listen to inspirational messages. They don't have to be religious messages. There are good people who are talking, good stuff on leadership. They are talking good stuff of, like, say, if you're interested in mental health issues, go and listen to those. The good thing, even with the Western world, there are free, symposiums or online webinars which you can connect to and listen, here. You can't do that while everything else is shouting at you. You need to take time out and be intentional on that. During that time, use it to read books. You want to become the best in I don't know, in leadership. Study the biographies of great leaders. You want to be the greatest in, even the gentleman who is now head of the cleaning department. I'm sure there are technologies in this country where cleaning back home, it's when you say that I'm a cleaner, everyone thinks you're down. Here, it's big business because in the Western world, they don't employ messengers in offices. So you will find people who start like that. Those are the ones who own cleaning companies. They receive contracts. You need to learn. You need to learn how to use sophisticated machines. Take time to research on causes, on things that you can develop yourself. If you are if you are a person who is in Christianity or, your faith, take time to connect to your source. Read the Bible, study, use it to develop yourself. At that time, have no apologies to anyone that you are developing yourself. And you know what? It's okay even if you have got nothing to do, sleep and rest. It is okay. It is okay to sleep and rest. People think, oh, if I sleep, I'm lazy. Let me tell you, this body is a physical body, and it will reach a point your body will start screaming that I need some rest, or I need some rest. If you don't give it, it will force you one. You don't want to get to that point. Learn to develop yourself. Allow your physical body to rejuvenate. Take time
Yes.
out. Some people have made it a plan, in their days, they have a nap, whether it's 10 minutes. We think, oh, they are lazy, maybe they've just eaten, they're feeling. No, they want their mind to settle before they take the next task. If it is Saturday, they will say, maybe I will give myself, a me time and just lie on bed and not even put the phone on silence, no TVs, just there, reflecting. If your eyes shut, then your body is telling you, I am really tired. Sleep. And then you get up, you get fresh. So learn to take retreats, the me times, and develop yourself to become the best in whatever you desire to be.
Read a comment by Sister Chinwe. She said that if someone finds you in that audible state of talking to yourself, they may call a psychiatrist for you. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so my next point is, let us learn to wake up. Wake up. That you can be awake and talking like this when you're actually sleeping. What Dr. Sunday says, being in the here and now.
Yeah.
Let us wake up and start to be thinking people.
Yeah.
When June was saying that she asked herself questions, that's the part of it. When last have you sat down to ask yourself questions about what's going on around you, about why you are like that, or about where you want to live? We don't ask questions, and especially us, Africans, we have many things, obstacles, but it takes intentional people to actually realize those and actually step over them. For example, what am I being by saying thinking people, asking questions? For example, if you walk around your street and you find a lot of street children on the street, have you asked yourself any questions? But why do we have many street children? What's going on? Why isn't anyone caring? Why do we have rubbish everywhere? People eating rubbish, throw anyhow. Why? When you start asking questions, it shows that actually you're a problem solver. That's how you develop problem solving skills. But if we just say, it's none of my business, I'm just minding my own business. So if everyone says it's none of my business, whose business will it be? Other questions could be, who started this tradition and why do we believe in this? And this is just talking to Africans. Many times we just inherit traditions and cultures. We don't question how they came about. Why are they done the way they are? Why do they cook in that way? Why do they treat women in that way? There are some things I really question. And if I find there's it doesn't align with my belief, I drop it. So sometimes it's good to ask questions. Because you're thinking, you don't just wake up, you're born in a culture, you just adopt everything, you don't question, you just flow with the flow. No. So being thinking people is what distinguishes us from other creations of this world, other animals, other things. Why? Because we are above that. Okay. And then another question could be, can this be done differently and more effectively? For example, if you're at your place of work and you always ask yourself, why do we always do things this way? Isn't there a better way? You know what? That's how innovations come about. That's why inventions come about. Why? Because people are thinking. And if you're like that, and the company will treasure you. Why? Because you're finding solutions, you're asking questions, you're pointing them to areas that they have been overlooking. That's how you can excel in your field, by asking questions, being a thinking person. Other questions could be, who is more experienced and knowledgeable in this area where I'm struggling? Who can I talk to? If you don't ask these questions, how will you improve yourself? How will you develop yourself? So that place where June says, on retreat, she asks herself questions, That is the most important thing in personal development. Ask yourself questions. Think about your life. Slow down on this fast-paced life and start asking questions about your life.
Yeah.
You know what? You find solutions. You become a problem solver. You will advance yourself. In fact, you'll be helping so many people.
Mm.
Eyes to so many aspects. And you'll be even a good creator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that gentleman of the clean job, he created a job for himself.
Mm.
And then another situation can be, what can I do to help the situation? You know, many times you read about the problems in the newspapers. You just say it's news. You read the book, that's none of my business. You just put, the newspaper aside. But come on. What can you do to help the situation? It's only problem solvers in this life that have become great. Albert Einstein, the inventions of all the scientists, Mother Teresa, they solved problems. They looked out to solve problems and found solutions. Name every great person in this life and in history. They were thinking people. They asked questions. They provided solutions. So if you want to develop yourself to be relevant, to be a personality, to be someone who will leave a print and mark in history, you have to ask questions. And through asking questions, you get answers and solutions to societal problems and also personal problems. Other questions could be, how can this be achieved?
Yeah.
If you want to achieve something, how can I start on this? When can I start? So all the questions of how, why, when, what, who are all relevant. And another good example could be, for example, many times you find yourself in a meeting or gathering, and there are so many people there. Some of them are great achievers. So if you're an introvert and you've not developed yourself to be a social person, how will you approach that person to talk to them? Because guess what? Every human being is holding a key to a problem, a solution to a problem. And all of our problems, guess what, where the solutions are? They're in the hands of other people. So if you develop yourself to be social, to connect to people, then you will die with your problems. The person who is lacking money now, another person has bags full of money somewhere. They can solution to your problem. Okay, so when you find yourself in the midst of great people, how do you approach them? How do you talk? How do you socialize? That's part of what? Personal development. And many times when you have that opportunity of being around people, we are the ones who want to be listened to. We blah, 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 blah. Now that's also another sanguine person who needs also to, as June was explaining. We talk on, we want to be listened to. Hey, there's a time coming whereby you have to really keep quiet and listen to other people. Especially people who are more experienced than you, people who are more knowledgeable than you, people who are great achievers. Listen, extract information from them, ask them questions. You know, I remember one time I was in Ukraine and Pastor was telling us, ask questions. I was just looking at him. I didn't come in with any questions. So when he told us, guys, I'm loaded. If you don't ask me questions, guess what? You're wasting time here. And when we were in the middle of DS, Pastor Sunday Adelaja, and you're not asking, you will go to other, because he's a busy man. Now the next time I go there, because that's how you regret. So if you have opportunities of meeting great people, plan your life, ask questions, because that's the opportunity you have. That's how we learn from them. That's how we tap wisdom. That's how we get solutions to our problems. And we wonder, why are we changing? Why are we this problem not going? It's because you're not working on yourself. So that is also part of it. Asking questions. And also look and reflect on your life, especially on the events that have happened in your life. Because all of us are shaped by the experiences we've gone through in our past. Okay. Reflect on them. Why did this happen? Okay. What was my role in it? What could I have done better? Okay. By reflecting on that, it helps you to learn, pick lessons from your experiences and improve your life. That is also part of personal development. And also another area of asking questions and being a thinking person is to, whenever there's a situation or a conflict, ask questions. Not only one side of the story, also cross over and ask the other party their side of the story. This is an area that many of us, especially Africans, we don't develop. You just hear one side of the story and you place judgment, you run off. And we have created so many innocent people into a prison of our mind, judging them anyhow without listening to their story. I've learned this the hard way as well. Let us learn to listen both sides of the story. It's part of personal development. It's part of being a thinking person. You don't just flow with whatever you hear. Pick facts from different people, and that's how you can be able to stand out and place your own opinion when you are rightly informed. You have a balanced opinion of every situation. Okay, so seek clarity, identify issues. Never be the kind of person who runs off with only one side of the story. Seek to listen to other people as well, and that's how you develop yourself to be a balanced person. So it will help never to be in conflict, not ever to be of judging other people, but to be a balance, and that helps you. It's healthy as well. June,
Wow.
what do you have?
That is really about asking questions, as
Yeah.
you're saying. That's where, all the innovations are coming from. Yeah, somebody is thinking, for how long are we going to be using this to dial our phones? Is there not a better way? Somebody is thinking, how long are we going to be relying on posting a letter from the US? By the time it gets to Uganda or Tanzania, wherever, somebody has seen this has come from abroad, they've opened it a bit,
Huh?
and somebody was even talking about the current development, especially like in East Africa, where these days I can just use my phone and send money from here, and it goes direct into somebody's phone, because probably somebody sat there and asked a question as, why do people have to go and queue for a whole day to wait at the post office, and they will be told the system is down, and what can I do to make something? So somebody came up with an idea. So you better also become one of those who will come with an invention, will come with a solution. Solutions arise from questions. Yeah, that's a really good
Make
point.
me think about the book, June.
Mm.
You must have looked at youth and said, but for how long will these youth be like this? What are the parents doing? Why can't they do? What's going on? And he said, I'll write a book. Talk about that as well.
Yeah. The the book Esther is talking about is this one. Yeah,
Yes.
Discover Yourself. The reason I came up with this book, if you were to ask me 10 years ago, I used to be so afraid with working with young people, because I used to think that they have this kind of mentality where they think they know each and everything. They are 10 steps ahead of you. What are you going to tell them, you who has come from the 1940s generation or whatever? But I realized that in itself was a problem, because we want them to behave in such a way which we have not even taught them. We put expectations and we have not guided them. And I realized there is something our young people really lack. They do not even have a sense of identity. They don't know what they want to do with their lives. And therefore, anything that comes their way, they do. I realize they do not know how to communicate like the way we are talking, person to person, because they are used to gadgets. And that is why people tend to think young people are rude, but I realize it's because they don't know how to talk. No one has taught them. We have allowed gadgets to be their media, their mode of communication. Hi, if you take a phone of a young person, you can scroll on their messages, you might not even understand anything they've written there, because they use symbols, hi and what, put smileys, but they need to learn how to speak using words, how to interact. But we expect them to do that, and yet we are not teaching them. And that is how I started developing this burden. And it took me years. And I kept on saying, and I would look around, and it will be like I am the one who is always complaining about them. Other people, they are fine. And I had, you know, in my consciousness, I realized you are expecting something from people who that is not their passion, that is not their burden. It is yours. That is why it is, you know, paining you to see that. Do something about it and stop complaining about it. So I want to believe that this book is just a beginning, and you know, as time goes, and you know, if we continue to be there, you know, we will still come up with you know, with more interesting programs and projects and books to equip these young people, so that when we put an expectation on them, we know that it is backed up with knowledge, with skills, with an exposure, you know. So that is the essence of me coming to the conclusion of writing that book. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, I want to request my husband Sammy to put up the link. That book can be found on Amazon.
Yeah.
I think I've done that before, so I think Sammy will put up a link for us in case you want a copy of that book.
Yeah.
Okay, so another point. June, were you going on, or should I go?
Yeah, I have some like two more points to share, but one is learning to budget. When we talk of budget, people just think it's budgeting money. My dear, learn to budget even your time. And I have come to learn this through understanding which season are you in life, and you make the most of that season. So for example, are you still single? If you are still single, there you know yourself, my dear. I am also one of them. This could be the time you can use to develop yourself in all areas. If you want to go to the farthest education, some girls are afraid of, oh, if I go and start a PhD before getting married, men will be afraid of me. My dear, they are looking for that very person. So use that opportunity, because you do not know when you will get married and other responsibilities will start coming. So at that time, put your focus on developing yourself educationally. You can invest. You can start saving to own property and what. But when you have just gotten married, that is another season. You know, you've just gotten married. You don't have children. Budget your time. Okay, when are we planning to have our children? Between now and then, what are the things should we focus on? You know, at that time, if you want to get involved in organizations doing voluntary work and what, utilize that time, because a season will come when you will have children. If you do not budget time now to look after your children, and I see this, you know, with you know, it's so painful, especially in the African community living abroad. This is a place where many parents have neglect, and you know, I feel so bad, because it's like we are trying to catch up with the time which we couldn't make, you know, we couldn't utilize when we were back home or wherever. We see now this is the time to earn as much money as you can. Is it the right time? Are you budgeting your time properly and your resources? Because you have children. Your children need you at this particular time. You know, somebody was making us to know, like, people forget that, especially like those who are in Africa, we tend to send our children to boarding schools when they get to secondary school. So, and that is at the age of 13. So actually, the maximum you have with your children where you can pour yourself into probably is the first 13 years of their lives, if you do not even send them to a primary boarding school. Because if you do that, you send your children to a primary boarding school, it means you send them away when they are 6. So those are the kind of things you really need to plan ahead and know where you are going to focus your attention. When you have your children with you at home, please spend time with them, because you only have very limited time. You are not going to say, let me earn all the monies and that's when I will start spending time with them. By that time, they will have already grown to go to university. When they go to university, they will have gotten a job. You will be praying for them to get married. They will have their own husbands, and that's it. And then you start living with regret. When we are talking of budgeting our time, you need to understand which season am I and what are my priorities at this time. Focus into investing in those priorities. When there are some couple, thank you, Auntie Rachel, I can see you. Thank you, Teresa, I can see you. There are some families which I know they decided in this United Kingdom, which it is as if the clock is running 3 times faster than everywhere else. If you're not careful, you are going to lose your children. There are families which sat down and agreed only one of us will work full time. That meant that financially they might have not been well to do, but do you know what? They took that time to invest into the lives of their children. They budgeted their time and they said, this time we are allocating this season to our children. So daddy, you can work, but also don't work 24/7 because the children also need you. So they did. And those families, to others, they looked like they were missing out. But today, people marvel at them because their children have grown up to become children of value. Why? They budgeted their time and resources well. They missed. They did not buy new cars because they were saving to educate their children. They did not buy new clothes, the latest fashion in town. Those things they allowed to pass by because they knew what they were doing. So you need to understand which season in life are you. There are some families, they are enjoying today. We see them flying holiday everywhere. You want to be like them and you have your children alongside with you. You will be denying yourself a lot of development there. Let them enjoy because they have invested, they have done well with their children. Their children are independent now. So now they can also focus on themselves. So know which season in life you are and budget your time, resources well to fit in that season, because the ultimate thing with all the children, spouses, jobs, and what, you still want to develop yourself to become the best. So learn to know where am I, what do I need to focus on at this particular time.
Yeah. Thank you, June. Okay, moving on to our next point of ideas, areas that we need to look at if we want to develop ourselves. Another point is environment. Environment is so key. Environment. So by environment, what do I mean? I mean, who are the people surrounding you? So the right people. Okay, let's talk about people first, because environment also has other aspects, but people first. Sometimes you need to surround yourself by people who inspire you, people who love you, people who appreciate your giftings, even critics to some extent. Why? Because they open your eyes to know which areas you need to work on. But I want to really focus on 3 categories of people. There are people who we are more experienced than them, more knowledgeable than them. Those people will inspire you. Why do you need these people? You need these people to impact them, to teach them what you've learned. Because why? If you want to be a person of value, a person of character, a person who is to leave impact in this world, you need to invest in other people as well. Because life is not about us. Living for others is the best calling we can ever have. And guess what? You are fulfilled doing that. People who are selfish, people who are living for themselves, guess what? There's that void in them. Why? Because there's that bitterness that God gave us to always reach out to other people. So you have a category of people that you need to invest in, a category of people that need to learn from you. Okay? That is so key. The second category of people are those that are your contemporaries, your equals, your colleagues. For example, you are almost the same level, you've achieved almost the same things. Why do you need these people? To share experiences, to share stories, to challenge each other, to share wisdom and ideas. You need these people as well. Okay. So, and then the third category are those that are more experienced than you, more advanced than you, more knowledgeable than you. Why? You need to learn from them. And these people are sometimes called mentors. We all need these people to learn from. Because if you're saying, oh, I know it all, I have everything, guess what? You're missing out. And the good thing with having mentors is that they show you the mistakes they've made so that you don't do them. So they save you pain. They save you a lot of pain because you don't have to repeat the same mistakes. And, you know, as Sunday says, it's like you're riding on their shoulders. They're the ones bearing the weight and you are riding on it. So mentors are very key in life. Okay. Okay. Those are the people, environment of people around you. Also, okay, why do we need, before I go to another aspect of environment, why do we need mentorship? We need mentorship because we cannot go far on our own. And knowledge is limited. You know, every idea you're looking for, every solution you look for is hidden in someone else. And our task right now is to look for those right people, to surround ourselves with those right people. And that is also part of personal development. Also, make yourself accountable to someone. It keeps you on track. Because if you have set a goal and you're not accountable to anyone else, no one is more asking you questions about it, guess what? You relax and that goal will actually fade away with time. But if you have someone who's criticizing you, who's saying, where are you now? What did you do last month? Where are you going tomorrow? Oh, you're focused, you stay on track, and guess what? You continue the rest of life. Mostly because you have someone giving you that urge, that push. We all need those people. So environment of people, that's what I can share about it. Also, there's the environment of books. What books are you reading? What message are you listening to? What TV programs and movies are you watching?
Yeah.
Everything we do has to be intentional. Are they pushing you closer to your goals, closer to making you a better person, or you're just passing time? Because your friends are watching a movie, you just go and watch with them. We have to be intentional in everything we do. Okay, if you look back in your life, this is what I use. 5 years to 20 years, and nothing has changed in your life. Check your environment. And even environment, location. It can be location. So environment can be physical, people, the things we surround ourselves with, the things we hear, the culture around us. Sometimes you don't have to leave the culture. You change the environment in your mind. You change your environment by your mindset. Okay, you adapt the things that are of value to you and drop the things that don't add value to your life. So that's environment. And also, when I was talking about, what was that point that I was talking about? Asking questions. This is also another point in it. Another point of developing ourselves is to grab our negative experiences, deal with them. Many times, like in Africa, we are taught to be shy, to shy away from the bad things that happen to us. For example, if you are raped or you grew up in an abusive marriage, don't talk about it, or you're embarrassing yourself. You know, that's the mindset. But guess what? If you want to develop yourself, you have to expand that experience. Why? You went through it and you overcame it. And there are other people going through it and they don't know how to overcome it. They are waiting for you to help them. Earth is eagerly waiting for the manifestations of sons. Sons are who are developing themselves to help other people. Let us learn to use our negative experiences to help other people. This is a way of turning it to a positive. I like my friend Nancy. She went through a difficult marriage, and right now she's reaching out to single people. Why? She's developing herself. She's using her story. She's turning it to a positive, the negative experience into a positive, and touching lives. That is personal development. Okay, and also identify your weaknesses and deal with them. Many times, I always lie. That's how I am, and I will repent, and God will forgive me. No. Why are you lying? So one thing that helps me actually to overcome such is actually being conscious of who you are and that God is with you in that situation. So if you respect your creator, you respect God, you would not want to do anything to tarnish his image because you're actually his image. And whatever you're doing, he's with you. Though you are alone in that hall, in that office, actually he's with you. So being conscious of who you are and who you carry also helps you to do the right thing. Work on our relationship, or let us work on our weaknesses. We cannot say this is how we are, this is the weakness I have, accept me the way I am. No. People have changed. We don't have to wind up in prison in order for us to change. You can use the opportunity outside prison to work to develop yourself. June, can you add to that, please?
You know, when you are talking about experiences, using our experiences of the past, I remember the time there was when I went to Ukraine, and you know, Pastor Sunday was telling us about this lady. She was a young girl who entered into drugs when she was very young. You know, drugs, prostitution, you name everything that you would not even want to identify yourself with this girl. But eventually she met, you know, she got connected with people who helped her, you know, to overcome that kind of situation. But, you know, what was interesting is that she did not just jubilate that she has overcome that situation. She straight away picked on, how am I going to save my friends who are still there? How am I going to make that other young people don't fall into that same category and be in the situation which I am? And you know what? She started reflecting on where she started missing the marks. What were the small practices she allowed into her life that led her to, you know, to stray? And she started writing about them, you know, ways to overcome those. And she came up with a training guide which was tested in one of the primary schools in a local maybe district like that in their area. And they realized that it worked. And guess what? That curriculum has been adopted like in an entire, you know, like, you know, say state or what, to be used, because they have realized it is working. And when she is talking, when she is teaching from experience, saying that I am not speaking theory, I am speaking practical, because this is what I was before, and by applying these principles, I have managed to overcome. And now they are seeing, like, even the rate of young people getting involved into the wrong things, it's going down, because they're teaching children while they're still young to start applying great principles and values for their lives, to have a sense of value. When you take drugs, when you enter into drugs, prostitution, there is one thing which will have registered into your mind, that I am not worth anything. And that is how you yourself, you start allowing all manner of abuse to come into your life, whether substance or physical and what. But once you gain the sense of value, so she realized, let us teach our young people to have a sense of value. And that is really changing. But you know what? It started from using her past experience and turning it into something good that will also help others. So, you know, that is a very, very good way to, you know, to develop yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
One of my last point, you know, we have been talking about a lot of things, and I think this point will kind of help us to know where to begin. And this is called what we call the Benjamin Franklin system of self-development. You know, it is a system, a gentleman called Benjamin Franklin. He was young, and I think by the time he was developing this system, he was 20 or in early 20s there. So you can imagine he was very young. So it's a system where you use a 13-week block to use to develop yourself. So you have each week you have something that you are going to be working on. It can be working on about your values, it can be working on about your principles, or something you want to add knowledge. So I will just give an example. So for example, if you are, me, one of my values is love. So I needed to really know what is love, and I decided to approach it in a Christian way, because I know in the Bible it is talked a lot about love. So I looked at, love is kind, love is good, love perseveres, and I started learning. Every week I will pick one value. What does it mean when it says love is kind? So I drew a 13-week schedule of every value. So week 1, love is kind. So I read, what does love is kind? I research, I listen to messages of people talking about love is kind, and I start to integrate that into my day-to-day life. Because when you learn that one, you start adopting it as part and parcel of your life. Then week 2, love is patient. Week 1, I love is kind. Now I'm learning love is patient. What does it mean to be patient? Is patient just going quiet? Is patient, bearing with people when they are really stepping on your toe? What does that mean? And I start implementing that. But you see, this system, what it helps you, what you learn week 1 is already integrating into your lifestyle. You are adding something else week 2. And when you get to week 5, you have 4 values or principles or experiences you have acquired. So you are carrying them along. So you will find yourself continuously developing. So each week you study one and you start to practice before you realize you will have acquired a new set of values and principles. If you are somebody who is interested in, let's say, surgeon, you want to become the best surgeon, you can look into your field. What are the things you want to specialize? Give yourself every week, I am going to learn about, I don't know, open heart surgery, for example. I'm just giving. You learn those kind of things. You read books about that. You give yourself exercises, like practically or intelligence. You learn. Next week, you are talking about something else, another aspect of surgery. You continue with that. And that is how you add knowledge, because at times all the things we are talking can become a bit overwhelming and you will not know where to start. So we are saying, like, start by using the Benjamin Franklin system. Draw a 13-week schedule. And when you repeat that 3 times, a year will have gone. So you can imagine, if you intentionally have that kind of system you are implementing in your life, how much knowledge, how much skill, how much exposure will you add into your life and become a better person? There is always somewhere to start. You want to get into property business. Learn, how does the business work? So week 1, how do people solicit funds? Because many people normally say, oh, I want to do properties, but I don't have money. Research, go inquire in banks, in other sources of funding. Then you tick that one once and then you continue to follow it up. Week 2, how do you design, properties based on where you are? How we build in Africa is different with how we build here. How can I, so depending on whatever area of life you want to specialize, you need to draw that schedule. And I can assure you, in 13 weeks, you will have gained something. You will start seeing changes in your life. So we really recommend that, because it is something that we have practiced and it has worked for us. Yes.
I like the way you explain that Benjamin Franklin system. Okay. I've done it myself. And I remembered that, the times when I was thinking about patience, reading about it, reflecting on it. That week, all impatient situations were thrown at me. There's a way, when you're intentional, when you're intentional, there's a way God realigns things so that, okay, you're learning about patient, okay, have that, have
Mm.
that. I first also, you know what, and it's so interesting, and God is a God of humor.
Mm.
When he sees that you are consistent, you want to learn something, he will allow experiences to come and test that value that you're learning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what you become better at it. In fact, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you laugh at it. You say, what also, have I passed, Lord? Have I not? If you failed, you try again,
Mm.
So that system allows you to really develop your character. This is what we tell our youth as students, to use that same system. So it really works. And factually, I'm still using it. Okay. So we are wanting closer because we are late. Sorry for taking so long. Our last point is actually to form a system, just like June has explained. Form a system of working on your passions every day.
Yeah.
John has expressed it. Okay. This will help you to keep your passions alive. What do I mean by that? Every day, set 2 hours to read about your passion. Could be music. Read about music every day. Listen to other musicians. Go every week, could be maybe go for voice training. Okay, have a coach. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then every month could be maybe save, put some money aside for a musical project that you're planning in the future. So everything you do, let it be intentional. Wherever you're going, in every meeting, in every party, you're invited to a party, they're invited to a wedding. Always ask yourself at the back of your mind, okay, I'm going to this wedding. What am I going to do? Am I going to add value to someone? Or you can even say, okay, I intend to meet someone and talk to them about something that will improve their life. So in everything you do, be intentional
Mm.
about it. To be having a productive life. You don't just pass through life anyhow, like anyone. So at the end of the day, you come back, okay, what are my fruits today? I talked to someone. I found someone who was not happy. I left them happy. I helped someone find an idea. I did this. I did. So that helps you be fulfilled. Why? Because you're more productive and you're developing yourself. Let us learn to be intentional in everything we do. And that's how we can maximize our time. Okay,
Yeah.
so the end of our broadcast. Sorry, we ran out of time. Yeah. So I hope the few things we've shared with you will be helpful to help you start your journey of personal development and also continue your journey as well. Okay, June, do you have to say the last words before we say bye?
Yeah. I think we can start with that one of start slowly and small. Start
Mm,
setting daily goals.
yes.
And daily goals will build up to weekly and what? Knowing where you want to go.
Mm,
Practice this between now and the next time when we meet again. And maybe
oh,
even one time, Esther, we can just have a time where we can invite somebody who can share with us how they've tried to put these things in practice, and we see how it's worked, how it has changed their lives. But start small,
okay.
set little
Oh,
goals, and take them from there.
okay. So if all our viewers could leave their comment that next time I want to share my experience, please put it in the comment, then we'll connect with you next time. But
Yeah.
actually, next time, come on with June, we shall be talking about setting goals and visions,
Yeah.
stage 1. But next week, it will be my husband, Sammy, and a friend who will be coming to share more about discovering yourself. So thank you for always being with us. Thank you for your time, and have a lovely and blessed weekend.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.